Hey there guys, welcome back to another deck profile with yours truly, Paul Reisman. Today we're taking a look at the recent Hyde deck that I played against Dalton Slocum in our recent feature match. Let's dig in.
This session brought to you by Odyssey Games for pre-orders and sealed product, CCG Prime for tons of singles and supplies, Cardo Doko for international rulers looking for product, and FoulLibrary.com for articles and wonderful deck lists. It's also brought to you by our guest lecturer patrons, Vite Ramen. Class is in session.
Alright guys, if you like ninjas, then you've come to the right place. This is my recent deck that I piloted against Dalton in our feature match, and it's going to be Hyde, the Solitary Assassin. One of the things I'm so excited to run with this deck are all of the different tools that she gets from this new set, because it reminds me very similarly to the mid-range kind of control decks that I used to play way back in 2011 when I was still a Yu-Gi-Oh player. So this ruler felt very similar to me, and I was very excited as I got into it. So let's talk about the Moon Children that I ran with this. Obviously you want to run X. X gets you an immediate look through your deck. You're looking through almost half your deck if you full mulligan at the start of the turn, so this card is actually really solid for getting you something to put in your Shinobi EX area. I opted to run Child of the Darkness Moon. I know that some folks are not running this particular Moonchild right off the bat. I am, however, because I am playing some green support in Lorite and some Friendship Whistle stuff. So I wanted to be able to not only correct into that, but if there was ever a threat, I could just kill it outright for free. Kill my opponent's Rusty, kill my opponent's whatever. This is just really good protection for me, and so I felt like this Moonchild actually provided a lot for the deck. By far the best card in the deck is Rusty, the Phantom Ninja Genius. Oftentimes I will set this card down and flip it face up to destroy a target J Resonator my opponent controls. This gives me a lot of board control. I almost never use the gain life draw card mode on this, but when I do get it to enter the field through something like Whistling Summon, this card absolutely just wins the game outright. This thing is very solid. I love Rusty. It's one of my favorite cards in this past set. We're also playing 4 Rusty's Fox, otherwise known on the channel with a lot of a lot of fanfare, Cone Rusty's Fox. This is one of the most important cards in the deck. It's one of the pieces of glue that really gives us a sense of how do we play this deck in such a way. It's a really good source of removal if you have a full EX area that has not been expanded, which in this version you're not likely going to have that happen. It's still doing 900 damage for free, while also reducing its cost. So this card actually does a lot of work in the deck, and I did not initially have it in there, and that was a huge mistake. But Rusty's Fox goes a very long way, and a 5/8 stat line for 1 effectively is not bad either. Next up we have one of the other greatest cards in the deck, Glowing Spider. This thing comes in and sometimes can do so at instant speed if you have Iga. Draw a bunch of cards, and this thing gets big too. A 1-drop 10/10 with a full EX area that draws you 3 cards is nothing to sneeze at. That being said, having 4 in the deck is okay. I'd probably do 2 or 3 max in the future, and I'd probably find room to splice in the Black Widow. This card is actually also really insane. Not only does it get bigger, it also has natural flying, and it can just pop something as it enters the field. With Iga, it is also just something you can bring on your opponent's turn, do some really bad damage with it, and this thing gets natural flying, so that's really, really solid. I'm considering this for the future. Of course, I play 3 Iga, Village of Assassins. I want to see this card, but I don't want my hand to be clogged, so I'm playing 3 of this. Gives all of your ninjas in your EX area quick cast, as well as all the ninjas in your hand, in your graveyard, and in your removed area quick cast, if you want to do something like that. It also can come out for free and just be put in your EX area, which is sometimes relevant, actually. It doesn't actually punish you as much as it helps you in some ways. So that's actually quite a relevant effect, and being able to do it for free is nothing to sneeze at either. I play a combination of 3 R Tracker and 2 L Tracker. There have been times I think you've seen it in the feature match at this point, where I've been able to go R Tracker into L Tracker for free, into R Tracker for free, -12 the board, +6 my board. That's kind of nutty. Plus, it's one of the only ways you can get cards into your EX area if you are under ice shackles. The other way is through Cone's effect, right? Just entering this card allows you to take a card from your hand and put it face down. So there's ways to get around ice shackles in the deck, which I think is really important. Next up we have 2 Whistling Summon. This card in a lot of ways to me feels very underpowered in the deck, but it fills a niche, and so I think 2 is perfectly fine. It not only allows you to cheat in your Rusty for relatively cheap, it also buys back your Lorites, it brings back your Spiders. There's ways this card actually has a lot of utility, and that's all for free. Just buy something 1 cost or less back from the deck, just reveal this card. That seems pretty good to me. So 2 feels like the right number. I wouldn't do anything more than that. I play 1 Rocket Dive Pink Spider. So this whole challenge was basically put out to us to basically construct a deck using 1 or 2 of the contracts for your rulers. I opted to just play 1 of the contract, mostly because I wanted you to have the feeling of this is a deck you can create if you have legacy support, if you've opened a couple of boxes and you only ever got 1 Hyde and Pink Spider contract. This is the kind of deck you can play. And honestly, besides expanding in the EX area and drawing you a bunch of cards, it didn't really feel necessary for me in this version of the deck, although I can imagine optimally you would want to run 4 of this just because there's ways to getting around Barrier and Eternal attached to this card. It's also in ninjutsu, so there's ways for you to just expand your EX area to the point where your opponent can't really interact with it too well, your hand that being. So obviously, if you're going into a tournament setting, if you're going into a GP, play multiples of this if you possibly can find them. But if you only happen to pack 1 of these, it's not super integral to the deck if you know how to build around it. It also leaves up room for some other stuff that I like to put in my list here, so we'll talk about that in just a second as well. Because I don't get heart-to-heart talk, I said, why don't I just play Flute instead? It's essentially a heart-to-heart talk, but it also produces white, which can be useful for casting things like Rusty or Rusty's Fox. This is just a way to make sure that everything in the deck actually costs 1 less, and it's really difficult to remove because of that barrier keyword. I'm playing 4 Lorite because I feel like if you're going to be running green, Lorite right now is probably the best green card to run. It can stop God's Arts, it can stop Enter Triggers, it can stop a lot of stuff in the game right now. So I think Lorite is probably the best green card to pilot at this point in the game. I play 2 Institute. In retrospect, I'd probably go up to 3 of this card. This is just one of my favorite cards in the whole game. It's a good win condition. It allows you to cycle through your stones. It effectively costs 1. Remove your opponent's graveyard. Get a +2/+2s on things like your Spider, which is already a it could be just a 10/10 and then just get 400, 600, 800 more stats. This thing is terrifying under Institute, and so I really love Institute for what it is. I'm playing a relatively fun list, so I decided to splice in a couple of, spicy, fun cards like Yggdrasil's Grace, be able to flicker my Rusty, flicker my my Cone to kind of get new enter effects, flicker any of my trackers to get their bonus effects at the end step. This card's fun. It's obviously not needed, but it's just there to be fun. I just wanted to have some interesting techie things to sort of bring the spice to this list. I'm playing 3 Dispelling Stone over Rusty's Claw technique. The way I'm piloting the deck, I'm not really revealing the EX area and wanting that stuff to fall back face down. When I'm really using Rusty's Claw technique is to kill Resonators or to kill additions, but mostly additions. Dispelling Stone for me is super usable. It's not only something you can put face down in your EX area to keep your opponent guessing, but because of Hyde, you can cast this at any time you have 1 mana open. It works really well with Flute in that regard, so I really do like Dispelling Stone. It shuffles your deck, it does a lot of fun things for the deck in general, and it gets rid of all of those pesky additions that are around right now. Last but not least, I don't feel like this card is necessarily something you need to put in, but again, I wanted to just have a little bit of fun with this list, so I put in Friend Calling Whistle. This is very obscure. If you've not played the game since New Valhalla, this card is going to be very strange. I don't think I ever even knew this card existed until this deck came out, but basically, for one, you just get to get a ninja from your deck, which literally could be anything. It could be your Rusties, it could be your Cones, it could be your Spiders, it could be your R trackers, your L trackers, whatever you need, right? So this card just seemed like a lot of fun to run, especially if I had a need for a Rusty. I could just tutor it at the recovery step, and then I'm good to go. Magic stones look like, because we're playing Institute, we're playing 4 of the Secret Stone of Cat Moon for C value that it provides. We're playing 3 Heaven's Rift, and of course the OG art must be the way you do it. I'm playing 2 Magic Stone of Tranquility. This card is super cheap, and I probably, again, this is just a flavor card for me. I just like the ability of recovering some of my ninjas, but you probably don't honestly need it. If you wanted to play Black Silences or something else in this slot, that works too. Even Gusting Skies would work in this place instead. I just wanted to have some fun. And then 1 Amadeus Holy Crystal. There's a lot of stuff running around now with Moon Children, so this card is almost always going to be live and be an Omni Stone, so it just felt like a good way of rounding out the deck. That being said, guys, this has been Paul. Let me know what you think of this list down in the comment section down below. Does this deck look fun even with 1 contract? That's something that I'm curious to know from you guys. Let me know what you think down in the comment section down below, and while you're down there, hit subscribe, ring that bell, give us a like button if you liked the video, and until next time, this has been Paul. Catch you later.